just
They're
tens of thousands or
more than that,
hundreds of thousands?
probably closer to that.
Wow.
But that's a policy decision, as we've discussed. Those were growth-related funds. The governing body would need to say, we don't want to keep those separate anymore.
Well, I think that if we're gonna take a consistent approach for maintenance and growth projects, I think it just makes sense to pull those together. I mean,
Yeah, well, that's,
Right.
I mean,
it's certainly an opinion that's going to be a policy decision by the
yes,
governing body, but
I understand.
we
Sure.
can
We
we
can
can
put it on the
certainly.
budget calendar thing.
Yeah.
We can just add that
Absolutely.
to it.
Okay. Sure. Thank you.
Anyone else?
I move that we pass ordinance number 2453, amending Title 13, Utilities, Chapters 13.15.010 and 13.40.010 to increase water and wastewater rates.
Second.
Motion Freeman, second Roberts, that we pass ordinance number 2453, amending Title 13 Utilities, Chapter 13.15.010 and 13.40.010 to increase water and wastewater rates. Harrison?
Yes.
Shute?
No.
Roberts?
Yes.
Freeman?
Yes.
Podovich?
No.
Ordinance number 2453. New business item number 3. Consider denial of conditional use permit 14-01 for oil and gas wells for applicant Russell Family LLC at Kill Creek Road and West 195th Street, parcel identification number CF 221410-2001. Mike Hall, good evening.
Thank you. So this is an application by the Russell Family LLC for 55 wells in 2 phases. 55 wells include 33 production and 22 injection wells on a total of 160 acres. Phase 1 consists of 15 production wells and the associated injection wells. Phase 2 consists of 18 production wells and associated injection wells. This is a CUP for 20 years, 20-year period is what's being requested. It's important to note that the property owner will not lease the property, but will retain a licensed operator to conduct the operations. No operator has been chosen at this time. This diagram just shows the process of producing oil in this part of Kansas. The production well is the well in which the oil is pumped up from. So you see a pump jack, that's a production well. The injection well is where water is injected into the formation, as shown on the diagram, to push the oil, to the production well. This is the site plan showing the oil wells on phase 1 and phase 2. The production wells are shown in with the cross as diagram, cross, and the injection wells are shown with a small circle. So you can see how they're spaced. They're spaced, I believe, at well, the production wells are spaced at approximately 440 feet apart, I believe. At the bottom, so at the bottom of this site plan, that's the south edge of the property, and it abuts 159th Street. You can also see the tank battery shown on this site plan in that portion of the site designated as phase 1, and it's closer to 159th Street. One thing that the site plan does show is the floodplain going through the property and other features. This is a diagram of the landscaping around the tank battery. So just some history of this property. This parcel was part of a 560-acre annexation in 2004. At that time, or just shortly after, the city created a sewer benefit district to support residential development. This is a $4 million sewer benefit district for a high-powered lift station, a gravity main, and a force main. Residential development has not happened as was planned due to market conditions. In 2012, a conditional use permit application was submitted for 10 oil and gas wells, and this was withdrawn before City Council actually took action on the application. The special this is part of this benefit district. The special assessment on this parcel for the 2013 tax year has not been paid, and the applicant is behind on other parcels also. That's part of the rationale for the application. The applicant proposes the oil wells as a way to generate income to pay the assessments. So some potential oil well impacts: spilling of water, oil, chemicals, or mud used for drilling can contaminate ground and floodplain. There are measures that can be taken to prevent some of these things from happening, or to at least mitigate them. Unpleasant odors from producing wells, use of a large amount of water. We'll say that there was some question that I've received: where was the source of water? There's no plan to use the city's water utilities to provide the water. Apparently, the applicant intends to drill a well or truck in the water for the purpose of flooding the wells. The wells can be hazardous if they are not maintained or plugged appropriately. So at the end of the well's life, or if the operator decides they don't want to drill or extract oil from the ground any longer, they plug the well, and there's some potential hazard of that associated with that. There's some potential hazard of an inadequate cleanup upon well abandonment. So although a lot of these things are regulated, there is somewhat of a risk of someone going bankrupt, needing to leave the wells and not plugging them appropriately and not cleaning up. I'd say there's some risk. So procedural requirements for an oil well in this zoning district, which is the agricultural zoning district, is a conditional use permit, subject to the review criteria in Garden Municipal Code 18.185.150. And in addition to that, there is a requirement for oil and gas permits, and that's in a different part of the code, Title 15, Chapter 15.55. That is also required to be approved by the governing body. So some of the factors, I will go over some of the important factors relative to the criteria in Gardner's Code and also in the statute that address rezones, conditional use permits, and special use permits. One of the issues is the character of the surrounding area. The area outlined in blue is the 160-acre parcel. To the south, you can see Celebration Park and also the Kill Creek Wastewater Treatment Plant. To the west, north, and northeast, these are primarily used for agricultural purposes. Some areas are natural areas, as you can see here, streams and floodplains. Directly to the east, the parcel that is on the north side of 159th Street, there is oil drilling that's occurring on this site today. The property to the directly east and northeast is outside of the city. It's unincorporated. One of the issues, one of the criteria for making a decision has to do with how this conforms with the comprehensive plan. The comprehensive plan, this is the comprehensive plan currently in force, which is the community development plan. It identifies this area as low-density residential, and with the idea that it would develop as single-family residential, not unlike the single-family residential development that you see around Gardner today. So